And of course, there were no lawsuits against me or for the book.
And no subsequent attacks against your license either, were there?
No, they tried. They tried everything. But anyway. So as I've said often since I wrote that book, and it's all happened and got so deeply involved, I truly can say I wish I never knew any of this. I wish I never knew this existed. I think it was a prettier, happier, better world before I knew.
Yeah, well, the fact is, unless we face the rot within our system, we're all going to become victims of these kinds of things. So
I know, and my children, of course, were all growing up during years from every one of them had scary things, and they still harbor scary things as a result of it. We talk about it a lot more now, but at the time they were scared. I mean, truly scared that somebody would show up because we had so many incidents where people disappeared, kids disappeared, and ended up.
How many people were disappeared as a result of this investigation?
I only know about, I think I listed maybe 15 or 20 at the end of the book. And then, of course, there's been more since that last part of that book. There was, for example, one of the most prominent ones of all, walked into a hospital, I believe it was in New Mexico here. Oh, was it a year and a half ago, might have been. A kid named Troy Boner was one of the central figures of the book, and he's waving the book. And he's screaming, they're after me, they're after me, they're after me because of this book. And the hospital personnel calmed him down and put him in a room and thought he was, kind of, hysterical, and obviously. Anyway, the next morning they came in, he was sitting in the chair, bleeding out the mouth, quite dead. So who knows?
Yeah.
And so many of them like that.
Well, and we had Rusty Nelson involvement, and we also had Hunter Thompson. What can you tell us about Hunter Thompson's involvement in this?
I do not know Hunter Thompson. I never met him personally. However, he was one of the characters, at least a couple kids identified as being directing some of these, I hate to say it, but porn snuff films of children where a child is actually literally killed or sacrificed in kind of a ceremonial, almost a satanic cult type thing. And it was interesting that what happened to Mr. Thompson. Who knows the real story there?
Well, if he was directing the actual killing of children, what he got was just desserts. I just wish we got the story before it happened.
Yeah. Well, I certainly had my story out before.
Yeah.
Before it happened about Hunter Thompson, and anyway.
Well, now
he killed himself, or.
Well, how pervasive do you believe in your professional estimation, after having been victimized by these facts? Because all of us who know these facts feel victimized in some way. How deep does the rot go in your estimation?
How deep?
How deep in our political structure does this activity go? Because it's become very clear to my partners and my research partners that this is in fact not an isolated situation, but rather status quo in some instances, or in most instances.
Well, I think it probably goes a lot deeper and broader and higher up, if you want to use a phrase, than I ever dreamed, or most citizens that ever dream or want to believe, or find it even possible to believe. At the same time, I guess I'm not just sure that it's getting less.